Welcome to Blue Star Media's new storytelling podcast, A Cowboy Life. I'm Brady Tinker, and we are thrilled to bring you these stories about Dallas Cowboys players told to us by the players themselves. We start with Pro Bowl linebacker Jaylon Smith, now number 9, presented by Smoothie King, blending goodness to fuel your greatness. Enjoy Jaylon Smith's story, A Clear Eye View.
I've never heard in my personal visits with him when he first came in about woe is me, I had a bad break. Because he certainly would have been in the very top of the draft when he came out. He has never complained. He has never wavered, never missed a workout, and he's never quit. Not one time. He is admired by his teammates. He is admired by his people he competes against. His story is one that I would have done anything to be sure that it could be a Dallas Cowboy story.
Cowboys owner Jerry Jones is a fantastic businessman, a loyal family man, and in everything that I've ever seen him be involved in, just a truly passionate person. Jaylon Smith was raised on the south side of Fort Wayne, Indiana, and for a good part of his childhood, he was mostly Rod Smith's little brother. Rod, you see, was a south side legend as a running back. Jaylon loved and admired his older brother every minute, but instead of staying in his shadow, he paid attention. He asked questions, and without really knowing it at the time, he began to pave his own well-thought-out path that became known as Clear Eye View.
Clear Eye View is all about how I operate my life and how I live my life. It's through 3 different pillars: a focused vision, a determined belief, and earned dreams. That's what I define as a clear eye view. A focused vision is about having a laser beam focus on what you want to accomplish and being able to see it clearly. And then a determined belief is about a self-belief, a belief in God that he has your back, a belief in others, understanding that others believe in you as well. And then from there, earned dreams is just about how bad you want it. What work are you willing to put in to accomplish your clear eye view and what you want to achieve?
As a young boy raised by 2 loving parents, Jaylon was often encouraged to ask questions right from the very start. His personality made that easy.
Both mom and dad in my life, my entire life, just being able to learn and grow and observe, come from a big family. Both sides of my family are athletes. We get our speed from our mom's side of our family. We get our size from our dad's side of the family. So just always being active growing up, just really learning basic principles. It's kind of really shaped who I am today, coming from, south side of Fort Wayne, Indiana. I have 6 brothers and 1 sister. Then I have like 5 step siblings. Both of my parents are remarried. So, we're all family. Just come from a big family, very close, getting opportunities to learn from each other every day.
An average kid might see a big family as a burden or something that takes away from his one-on-one time with his parents, but not Jaylon. He loved and learned from that big family every day.
My mom kind of taught me at a young age just to always be observant, and it's okay to think and learn. So to just develop an intriguing mindset, and blessed to have a lot of great people around me.
Some areas of the south side of Fort Wayne, Indiana can be viewed as dangerous. The people there are very hardworking, but somewhat less affluent than other parts of the state. It is a part of what some call the distressed zip code.
Coming from the south side of Fort Wayne, Indiana, you get a chance to see a lot. And for me, it was just about not taking anything for granted and being blessed for numerous opportunities. I'm always having a drive to be something in life in efforts to find my purpose.
With lots of people around, young kids can get lost in the shuffle, especially in a neighborhood with so many things that could, challenge your decision making.
There's different paths that you can take when you're exposed to so much. For me, like I said, just having a great base around me and family and friends to always keep me going.
Jaylon didn't see his big blended family as something that was all that unique.
I know of multiple examples, especially in the Black community, of mixed families and things of that nature. We all just look at each other as family, being able to learn from each other, being able to have each other's backs. Just really a great experience. Super, super huge family. So always someone to talk to. I'm a Gemini. I don't like being alone. So it's, I'm really good with it.
If you were around Jaylon Smith for any amount of time at all, you'll see his drive and his inquisitive nature. He always asks my son Jake and I questions about our lives and being together and about our business. And you'll also hear him talk about his clear eye view and his desire to focus, improve, and learn. It started, I think, at a young age when he was a very good athlete, but maybe he went a bit unnoticed, as we mentioned, because his older brother Rod was fast becoming a South Side legend.
We're 3.5 years apart. I grew up watching him, idolizing him. He was like the greatest thing coming out. I was his little brother. It kind of forced me into excellence because I didn't want to be the little brother that was just mediocre or less. I always wanted to be able to live up to that family name. And like I said, locally in the city, our families have huge track history of having huge success on both sides. So my brother being kind of the pinnacle of it growing up always forced me to work extra. I'm very observant, so I always watched his moves and his success and being able to cultivate, into my own. And then from there, it was just about stepping out of his shadow and becoming my own man, my own person, and was able to do that.
And then after watching each other for years, but never playing together, the Smith brothers were teammates, and they were Dallas Cowboys.
Definitely a blessing to be able to play 3 years with him for the Dallas Cowboys. He's a free agent right now, training. We both still live in the DFW area. He's one of my idols, though, and steady pushing each other. I look up to him.
I watched for 3 years as these brothers, Jaylon and Rod, played on the same field, one for the defense, one for the offense. Their respect and love was evident as they rooted for each other from opposite sides of the field, and they shared each other's lumps and triumphs. It was very cool to see.
Our dad is a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, so it's all in the family.
Sophia Smith was a track star. Roger Smith was a football player. All in the family, indeed. In NFL history, 0.02% of high school football players actually make it to the NFL. Only 385 times have brothers made it to the league, and only 67 times since 1940 have brothers played on the same team. But we're making such a big deal out of Jaylon and Rod playing together now because they didn't ever play together all the way through high school.
When it became time to select my high school, I came to my mom. I told her I wanted to go to Bishop Lewis, which is a Catholic high school. And the reason being was just wanting to step out of my comfort zone. I never really experienced being around white people a lot. I just wanted to get diverse with the world.
I always thought, and we weren't perfect, but I always thought that the best gift we gave them was the diversity.
Rod Smith was All-State and the High School Player of the Year at Harding High in Fort Wayne. Jaylon Smith decided to carve out his own path in multiple ways, not just with his football, but with his life. And he needed to challenge himself at a different high school. And that lady you saw was his principal at Bishop Lewis High School on the South Side. When you look back on it, how do you feel about your time there?
I think it definitely all provided a great case to help me become the man I am today. I'm so thankful to be able to attend a high school like that with especially the principal at the time, Mayor Kiefer. So much love.
It wasn't until his junior year that I really got to know him because he never got in trouble. There was never any reason for him to come our way.
Indeed, Mary Kiefer was the principal at Bishop Lewis High School in Fort Wayne for 20 years, and you can tell when you talk to her that she has her faith and an unending enthusiasm to help kids learn and to be smarter and kinder. Hey, Jaylon, was going to Bishop Lewis a tough decision?
A couple of our family members kind of went there before and had some success. The football program was legit. A small, super small Catholic 2A high school. My graduating class was about 70 something. The only Catholic high school on the south side of town. That's really kind of what went into my decision. Definitely was able to learn a lot about myself attending that school. And to this day, I always go back when I'm home. So forever a Bishop Lewis night, 4-time state champion as well.
Winning state 4 years in a row. For our little school, it was a big deal.
Was able to put up some banners, so that was a beautiful thing.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man's Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Jaylon made an impression at Bishop Luers High School from the beginning. His impact on the field was immediate, and as he grew as a person, he also impacted students at his own school and at the grade school down the street.
He was rather mild-mannered, as a matter of fact. I can remember a couple of things about him that made him stand out. We had a little Lutheran school that was adjacent to our school, and he and a friend of his went over there every week and read to their second graders. And this was something that he decided he was going to do. Every week they walked over there and read to those kids. And that touched my heart.
You know, most of us grow up as needed. Jaylon set out in high school to learn about himself at Bishop Luers, and he found he liked helping others almost as much as playing football. But boy, was he good at playing football, and people were starting to notice.
Junior year, all the talk started about this is a dude, this is an athlete. Junior year that Kelly came to watch him play basketball.
Kelly, that Mary is referring to, is the head football coach at the University of Notre Dame, Brian Kelly, and his coming to Bishop Luers High School to visit was a big deal.
We sat right beside me in our little gymnasium and watched Jaylon play basketball.
The gym was, there was no room left to sit in the gym. Mary was very accommodating. She brought a chair in for me, and we kind of sat in the hallway right underneath the basket, and I made a grand entrance to make sure everybody knew I was there. Whether it was a football game or a basketball game, Jaylon never really let any of that distract him from what he wanted to do, and that was win. So he went out and did his normal thing. You know, he would tell you that he was a great player. I would tell you that he was a great competitor, and we'll leave it at that.
Brian Kelly is now in his 12th year as head coach at Notre Dame, and he's won over 70% of his games. And it was pretty cool of him to call us back to chime in on Jaylon.
Then he came back senior year to watch him play football. And all the hype and all the hoopla, throughout it all, Jaylon remained humble. There was never any look at me or any of that. Did he tell you about working at Burger King?
No.
Oh, he should have told you about working at Burger King. Maybe a block from school, he got a job at Burger King. And he was highly recruited at that point. That was his senior year. And there he was, dealing burgers.
Jaylon was not a great communicator, and he wanted to use the platform of a job like Burger King to enhance his interpersonal and communication skills.
You know, I remember having this talk with Jaylon at his locker. His coach is right. He made his way to the drive-in window at Burger King his senior year in high school when he was already famous, solely with the idea of giving fast service and making people smile. Mary Keeper's husband is Steve, and Steve is also a teacher and a coach at Bishop Luers, and he had Jaylon his senior year, and he remembers when he got him, he was impressed.
We had our first organizational meeting, and he came in and he had his Burger King uniform on. He would work at Burger King, and he was kind of a leader and got around and talked to all the patrons and the kids.
The dude, as Mary likes to call him, worked at Burger King when he didn't have to. The dude was also fast becoming a leader.
There's a couple examples where a few of the kids on the team were getting out of bounds a little bit, and all I had to do is go and tell him, and he said, "Coach, I'll take care of it." And he was a great leader in that regard.
As Jaylon Smith's star rose in high school, he became more and more comfortable being that leader.
We had an assembly that ended early. He came to me and he said, "Could we, the whole school, do this one dance?" And I said, "Buddy, here's the microphone. You're in charge. I don't even know what you're talking about." He organized the entire school. They all videoed it and they put it on their devices, and it was a big deal. It was so much fun. We had fun. Every pep session, those kids, we had so much fun. Winning state 4 years in a row. For our little school, it was a big deal.
Winning 4 straight state titles was great, and we know Jaylon had become a big deal because Brian Kelly watched him play basketball as a sophomore. Basketball, not football. And by his senior year, well, his prowess in football had a big award coming his way.
He was receiving the Dick Butkus Award. It was to be a big fat secret. So Butkus was going to call the athletic office, and I was to have Jaylon there. Well, his mom worked. She never came to school, but we wanted her to be there to enjoy that. I was walking him down to the office, and his mom was going in the office. "Hi, Mama!" He's way down the hall, and so then he knew something was up.
Unabashedly always a mama's boy. And by the way, Derek Thomas, Brian Bosworth, Luke Kuechly, and Von Miller are just a few other names to win the Butkus Award named after the Hall of Fame Bears linebacker Dick Butkus.
He provided so many experiences for me and us at our school that will never be replicated. I mean, it just was awesome. We have his retired jersey in the gymnasium, and it was just fun. It was fun.
Now, honestly, how many high school principals in this great country do you think would single out a football player for his overall impact on their school?
He is so accommodating because everybody wants a piece of him. He did a little football camp at a local university. And I said, "Mohammed's not coming to the mountain. The mountain's got to go to Mohammed." So I went out on the football field. I just wanted to say hi. I hadn't seen him for a while. And he had his bouncer. "No, you can't. You can't." I said, "If you go tell him that it's Mrs. Kiefer, I promise he won't mind." No, he doesn't want to see anybody. He's got this camp going on. And I said, "I'm going to ask one more time." And she went over. He came running and hugged and was so, this is how he is. This is how he is. He's open and he's welcome and willing.
And I think Mary has another proud Jaylon Smith story yet to come.
Well, he scored a touchdown, and I was always on the sideline pacing, and he ran over and he hugged me, and somebody snapped a picture. So I'm proud of that picture. I love it.
Sophia and Roger raised a smart and thoughtful son in Jaylon. Hey Jaylon, Bishop Luers was mostly white when you decided to attend there. There had to have been some trying times.
Definitely had some surprising moments. Won't get into it, but definitely did. Some of it just unknown. When you experience different things in life, sometimes it's hard to grasp if you just don't know what you don't know. A lot of learning came from that, but nevertheless able to develop some great friends and relationships that still arise to this day. Like I said, I'm a South Side guy. I love going home. I love being around all of my people. So it's definitely great vibes at Bishop Luers.
Jaylon Smith knew there would be challenges when he stepped outside of his comfort zone and attended the diverse Bishop Luers. It's one of the reasons he went there, to learn about the world outside of his big family. And then it was time to choose a college, and Ohio State University sent a former linebacker for the Buckeyes and Super Bowl champ, by the way, Mike Vrabel, to get Jaylon to come to Columbus.
Definitely a dream come true to be able to meet Mike Vrabel, was my favorite linebacker growing up. How versatile he was, making big hits and sacks, causing turnovers, catching touchdowns. I loved his versatility. He came to my high school and I was doing a workout. It was just an amazing experience.
Now, I personally would have liked a Super Bowl champ's chances of getting most kids to come to Ohio State. But as usual, Jaylon had a plan.
My brother was at Ohio State at the time. It kind of made perfect sense. My dad wanted me to go there so we could play together.
That was his role model in so many ways. In this recruiting process, it never became one where he pitted Ohio State against Notre Dame. This was always about what was the best place for Jaylon Smith. We never really even got into talking about other schools.
Ohio State is a great football school. Hell, it's a great school, period. But Jaylon had designs on a school that he felt was worldwide.
When it came time to make my decision, definitely wanted to choose Notre Dame. Wanted to take my own path, a little closer to home, my mama's boy, hour and a half away, South Bend is. The education, the network, Notre Dame being a global institute, global recognition, much like the Dallas Cowboys. You know, you got Notre Dame, you got Dallas Cowboys, you got the Yankees. As far as prestige and notoriety, and making it a 40-year decision, not a 4-year.
The best linebacker in the country headed to college was also grown up enough already to think about lifelong ramifications of his college of choice. It's pretty amazing to me.
He had a clear understanding that Notre Dame, the brand power of Notre Dame and Jaylon Smith would be a great marriage. And there's not many 18-year-olds who begin thinking in those terms at that time. They're thinking about putting on a gold helmet and running through the tunnel. And certainly that was part of it. But he had a much broader sense and understanding of where he was going with his life.
Opportunity to play right away and be able to contribute to the team's success. It's just a beautiful thing, man.
He made priorities in his life, and that's why he was such a great fit for us at Notre Dame.
Translation, he was smart and a great player, and he was going to be plugged into the starting lineup from day one in South Bend. But not much about Jaylon's story runs along in a typical script for an 18-year-old. No way. How much selling did you have to do on Notre Dame, Coach?
What we talked about was what was most important for Jaylon Smith. We talked about his brother, talked about his family. We talked about how this school could enhance Jaylon Smith and make him the best version of himself. And that's why we felt pretty confident that at the end of the day, finding out so many of these things about Jaylon, that he was going to choose Notre Dame. This is my 31st year of being a head football coach. I've had hundreds of players to play for me. This young man was truly different in so many ways, and it has to do with wanting to grow at such an early age and understanding what growth meant. And growth was inside out. That's why he's such an extraordinary young man.
And then, nearly 3 years after he left Notre Dame to enter the NFL, he went back to the campus and back to the classroom to finish his required courses to graduate.
Finishing off what he started just says a lot about who he is and how revered he is. I mean, I had a couple of freshman players come back to the football building and go, "Coach, you'll never believe who was in the classroom. It was Jaylon Smith."
I actually went back to school after getting drafted. 2.5 years later, I enrolled back in school to finish up.
I said, "Well, did you say hi?" He goes, "No way, that's Jaylon Smith." I go, "Well, I think you could probably go up and say hi and tell him that you're a football player, everything will be okay." But that's the kind of, I think, reputation that he has, a man of integrity. And when you carry that and you say what you're going to do and mean what you say, as we all know, in today's world, that means a lot.
It was a different feeling being able to graduate as well from the university. 2019, was my graduation date. Last semester, I walked across that stage, something I told my mom I would do.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay, no surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a Cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man's Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting Cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/Cowboys.
You know, another surprising revelation of this story, just a few months prior to signing a $64 million life-changing contract to stay with the Dallas Cowboys, Jaylon Smith was sitting in classes, earning his last required credits to graduate from Notre Dame. You know, I want to go back to a major focal point in Jaylon's football life, the injury in his last game in the Fiesta Bowl against Ohio State. Jaylon Smith versus Zeke Elliott, seemingly the worst bit of luck at the most ill-fitting of times. New Year's Day 2016, just months before the NFL draft, and Jaylon Smith suffers what looks to be a career-ending catastrophic injury.
Definitely a life turn, being able to experience real adversity, possibly never been able to play the game that I love again.
I was not surprised that he played. He had such a bond and a closeness to those players, especially the seniors that were out there, and he was one of them. He was a captain, he was a leader. Once you put that C on your shirt, especially at Notre Dame, there's a bond there. You're not going to let your guys down. You're going to be with them to the very end. So that didn't surprise me. I think what I was absolutely shocked by was his reaction with no bitterness, with no, I wish I would have done it differently. His reaction was, I wouldn't change a thing. It's God's plan. I will overcome this. And the way he went to work after such a devastating injury and being told by so many people that you can't do this, it was almost that he was destined for this. And the way he overcame it is a story in itself. So incredible what he's been able to achieve because of that injury. It just speaks to all the things that he did leading up to it.
All of Jaylon's plans were turned upside down. The draft was just months away, and it looked for all the world like he may never play again, period. His role in the NFL draft was clearly going to be as a bystander. The setback could have defined his career before it ever started. But Jaylon Smith defied the odds. He leaned on his faith, and he went to work. And the Dallas Cowboys noticed.
There's some of the background stuff that we had found out about him being driven and all those things. The biggest thing that we spent time with was, him coming back from the injury and doing all those things and finding out who he was.
How nerve-wracking was it to make the pick?
We gathered all the information, and then having the stuff from the doctors helped. And I think the biggest thing was learning who the guy was, and then Jerry being invested in it and being, making the call. Because at the end of the day, Jerry makes the call, and in the second round with that ability, and then who he was, and then having the information medically that we had made him feel safe enough to pick a kid like Jaylon.
I had no doubt that I was going to come back. The main reason why is because of my clear-eyed view. Since I was 7 years old, I knew I was going to play in the National Football League. And you put a lot of time, a lot of sweat equity into what you want to accomplish in life. And this was my main pillar growing up.
Now, we all know as human beings there had to have been moments of doubt for Jaylon, even if they were fleeting. Because when a doctor says to you, nerve damage, well, that's not ligament damage. That's a bigger deal. But he got drafted by his dad's favorite team, the team his brother was on. It was great. And he came to Dallas, but he couldn't play.
To be able to get drafted at 20, but then not be able to play right away.
That's when you and I met.
That's when we met. That's when we met. Definitely humbling experience. It's helped me grow into the man I am today.
In between Jaylon's hard work to even be considered as a draftable player for the league was countless hours of whatever rehab he was allowed to do. Upper body work and mind work, remaining mentally tough and limiting his circle of friends to reduce any negativity, and staying with his faith and his focus. He was never going to perform at the Combine, but amazingly, he did show up for Notre Dame's Pro Day and do the only thing he could possibly do. He laid down on that bench and he pressed 225 pounds without putting too much stress on his legs. And he pushed that weight up 24 times in front of NFL scouts, and those that were there knew somehow, some way, this kid was going to play in the NFL. Now, it was up to teams to decide how early they were willing to pick a great talent with a terrible injury. The Cowboys knew the most about his leg because their doctor, coincidentally, did the surgery. Here's Vice President of Player Personnel, Will McClay.
What we're doing when we do this is we're betting on people. And so, you have to have things in place to kind of have checks and balances to kind of help you understand who the guy is and what they're all about. But it's extremely rewarding when, you have a guy that checks all the boxes physically, that's been through some challenges, that's overcome those, because we all have to do those as we grow. The biggest thing with these college guys is we're taking them from one environment that they've been in for 3 to 4 years and they're comfortable in, and you're putting them into a completely different environment. So you have to, concern yourself with the emotional intelligence, the IQ, the emotional IQ, and all that stuff.
During that redshirt year, our rookie year, definitely maximized my time on not only rehab and training to be able to return to the game, but just my whole mental aspect on understanding different things that may have taken a little longer had I been thrown right into the fire of playing as a rookie.
Once again, Jaylon had the right frame of mind. He found the positive in his rehab and made the most of his time physically and mentally.
I think it's just a testament to who he is. It all started with, seeing him come back from that injury and the dedication that he showed getting through that. I mean, and, most people would have quit and said that, I can't do this and tried to find excuses, and he didn't.
He has never wavered, never missed a workout, and he's never quit. Not one time.
Coming through that, and then the way that he played made us feel like we picked the right guy, and it made Jerry feel like it was definitely worthy of making that investment.
Will McClay and his team were proved right in their assessment of Jaylon Smith, both as a person and a player. And Jerry Jones had another great Dallas Cowboy story. And as usual, Jaylon sees the big picture better than most.
Had I not got hurt, I probably wouldn't be playing for the Dallas Cowboys because of my success and, projected to be a top 3 pick. There's the blessing in that. So many blessings and learning lessons come from that experience that has just shaped me into the man I am today, and a story to be able to inspire others. That's what God had called for me, man.
So Jaylon, take me through draft day. At home with your family and your friends, what's going through your mind?
I talked to Bill Priakis maybe the week before, and a guy that knows everything that's going on in the league and the draft process. Everybody knows his legendary status. Man, we had a conversation, and he pretty much told me that probably not going to get drafted in the first round because of the nerve. However, you're going to get an opportunity early that next day, and all you need is one team to believe in you. I'm not sure at that moment if he knew, that the Cowboys were going to select me, but I kind of found out during draft day, day 2, that it would probably be the Cowboys or the Patriots.
The New England Patriots selected an Alabama cornerback who has mostly returned kicks for two different teams since 2016. I'd say advantage Cowboys. So tell me about when that phone rang and Jerry Jones was on the other end on draft day.
On that day we got that call, that 214 number, it was just such a coincidence because I was sitting right by my brother, who at the time, he was going into year 2 in the league and, on the Dallas Cowboys roster. So it was just like, it was perfect. Definitely a blessing to be able to play 3 years with him for the Dallas Cowboys. He's a free agent right now, training. We both still live in the DFW area. He's one of my idols, though, and steady pushing each other. Our dad is a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, so it's all in the family.
Jaylon thought it would be day 2, and if you were watching the NFL draft coverage, well, they thought it might be round 2, or it might be later. Who would have the insight and the nerve to pull the trigger? And then, with the 3rd pick in round number 2 of the 2016 NFL Draft, it was the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, Jaylon, how's the ride been so far?
Man, the ride has been exquisite because it's like at any given moment, something can be thrown at you and you don't know what's going to happen next. But I rely on my clear-eyed view and just understanding that regardless of what situation that gets thrown at me, I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to make it through and I'm going to grow and I'm going to learn from any of this. We've all probably heard it a lot, but it's like there's no such thing as losses. It's lessons in learning, having successful years, having some tough years. As a team, it provides an opportunity for us to grow. Last year, dealing with everything we all dealt with, there's still some good to take out of it. No doubt about it.
2020 was an upside-down year for so many of us in this world. The Cowboys were no exception. When your star quarterback goes down, very few teams are equipped to overcome that in the NFL. But the defense was not very good either, and Jaylon knows his role. His job is to be better, certainly himself, and to help those around him be better too.
I'm an employee for the Dallas Cowboys, and our job is to, as experts in our position, is to perform, and that's what I pride myself on, just continuing to perform and being a leader here now. It's about how can you help others and continue to help others. That's what I'm focused on. We got to win, man. It's been too long. It's time to stop talking about it, and we just got to do it.
Jaylon is smart. He understands everything that goes into the business of the NFL and working for the Dallas Cowboys and their fans.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited for what's in store. But I had a lot more, and I still have a lot more to accomplish. Continuing to stay focused, man, and to appreciate life, to appreciate the beautiful people that are around me. Appreciate you and your son for our relationship for almost 5 years now, man. It's a blessing. First 5 years down, 4 years playing, but 5 years down, and we're all going into year 6. So still got a few of the draft class here, which is a blessing. It's with me, Dak, Zeke, and Anthony Brown. We're bringing it on, man. We just got to keep going. I'm looking forward to getting some guys back, healthy this year, and get a chance to build our camaraderie a little earlier. COVID-19 protocols last year. Sorry, that's my dog barking. Achilles. Come on, man. You know how it is. Definitely looking forward to what's in store, man. I'm embracing each moment with a clear-eyed view.
And what a story it is. Jaylon Smith getting picked by his father's favorite team because he had a catastrophic injury. And it turns out Dallas is the place that Jaylon was supposed to defy the odds, to overcome and to flourish. Thank you very much, Jaylon Smith, for telling us about your Cowboy life. Thanks so much for listening to Blue Star Media's new storytelling podcast, A Cowboy Life. There will be one story each week for you all the way through the playoffs. This was episode 1, and don't forget, next week, episode number 2 will be the first of a 2-part story about Tony Romo and Jason Witten and their fantastic relationship over 13 years in the NFL. All of this brought to you by our friends at Smoothie King, who, as you know, are blending goodness to bring out your greatness.